People ask me what WonderGrid is. And the truth is that it's more than a database, a ledger, a website, or a piece of software. To me, WonderGrid is a question. It's a question that has followed humanity for thousands of years. What happens when truth disappears? What happens when records are lost, evidence vanishes, memories fade, stories change, and powerful institutions become the sole gatekeepers of history? Every civilization has struggled with that very problem. Every generation has watched information be controlled, rewritten, misplaced, filtered, vanished, stonewalled, gaslit, or forgotten. Entire wars have been fought over who gets to tell the story. Entire governments have risen and fallen because citizens no longer trusted the records in front of them. When a system takes that away from you, and when families have been torn apart because one version of events became official, just like Orion said, damn, while another version was just ignored, you know? Communities, neighborhoods, our own backyards have been fractured because facts became impossible to verify. So that's why I invented WonderGrid. WonderGrid began as my attempt to imagine a different future. I did not start with computer science. I did not begin with cryptography textbooks or distributed system diagrams. I started with simple belief. Evidence matters. Before accusations, before assumptions, before force, before conclusions, there should be evidence. Evidence should not belong exclusively to one agency, one company, one LLC, one political party, one NGO, one corporation, or one individual. Evidence should stand on its own. If something happened, there should be a way to verify it. If a record exists, there should be a way to prove it existed. If a document is authentic, there should be a way to demonstrate that there's authenticity years later, decades later, hundreds of years later. And the more I thought about that principle, the larger the idea became. And then eventually I stopped thinking about individual records, and I started thinking about entire systems. I realized that I wasn't alone. And that's where WonderGrid was born. When I describe WonderGrid, I often say that it is a truth infrastructure. Roads move vehicles, power grids move electricity, Communication networks move information. Radio frequencies move other things. WonderGrid, in my vision, it moves trust. It is designed around a simple idea. All information should carry with it proof of its own character and integrity. Instead of us people asking different institutions blindly, that very system itself should always provide ways to verify all the information, whether it's been altered, recorded, and how it's moved through time. And my goal here is not to eliminate disagreement, because human beings, we always disagree. And sometimes that's a good thing, because something you disagree with one day could save the world the next. The goal is to create a world where the underlying record is harder to erase and easier to see and to verify for the public and all agencies. And then later on, I started developing the concept. I realized that one of humanity's greatest weaknesses is memory. Individual memory is fragile. Institutional memory is often fragmented into sections, pieces, a sort of a simulation. While your digital memory is very vulnerable, like your heart. Those hard drives fail, servers crash, accounts are deleted, companies shut down, administrations change. Entire archives disappear. When you look at history, it's full of all kinds of examples where critical records were lost forever. Sometimes even stonewalled for $300, maybe less, maybe $100 trillion. So I built WonderGrid, and it emerged from a desire to build something more, something stronger, something durable, that will last the history of time here on Earth and into space, and even onto the red planet. I developed a system where evidence could be preserved through cryptographic verification, distributed storage, independent validation, and transparent auditing. Not because technology is perfect, but because technology can produce opportunities for manipulation. So I wanted to develop a system that would be protected over the course of time. The architecture I envisioned began with creating information with every photograph, document, video, audio recording, report, public record, transcript, FOIA, PRR, so that it became more than just a file, it became an event. That event receives a unique cryptographic fingerprint generated through hashing algorithms. Most people never think about hashes, but they are remarkable inventions. A hash takes information and transforms it into a signature, an autograph. Change even a single character, and the signature changes. This creates an elegant mechanism for integrity verification. Years later, decades later, a person can compare a document against its original fingerprint and determine whether it has remained unchanged. So, from there, the information becomes part of a larger structure. Rather than existing in isolation, records connect to one another through verification chains and audit relationships. Individual pieces of evidence become components of a broader historical network. Timelines emerge, patterns emerge, context emerges. All the information that once lived in disconnected silos begins to reveal relationships. In my tech designs, WonderGrid is not merely a storage system. It's a living map of documented reality. One of my inventions that fascinates me the most is distributed trust. Throughout history, societies have often concentrated authority into a small number of institutions. Sometimes those institutions perform admirably, but sometimes they fail. WonderGrid is built around the idea that verification should not just depend entirely on one single point of control. Multiple independent validations can participate in confirming integrity. These are validators. Consensus mechanisms that create a resilience, a shield wall. Independent observers strengthen confidence within the shield wall. The system then becomes strong because trust is distributed rather than centralized. This tech with WonderGrid, Stone 911, all my stone tools and beyond evolved. I started thinking about beyond simple record preservation. What if information could become navigable in entirely new ways? What if a citizen could follow a timeline across years, connecting reports, responses, documents, filings, communications, and outcomes? What if investigators, researchers, journalists, attorneys, policymakers, and ordinary people like me and you, ordinary families, and what if these families could explore evidence as interconnected relationships rather than isolated files? This is where the grid, WonderGrid, becomes important. A grid is not a stack of documents. A grid is not a stack of tiers, case files, concerns. A grid is a network. Every node connects to other nodes. Every event has context. Every record exists within a larger story. And the deeper I dig into this and explore these inventions that I created, the more I develop the tech, the more advanced it gets, the more I become interested in transparency, balanced with privacy. Not every piece of information belongs in the public view. Sensitive personal information requires protection. Victims require protection. Children require protection. Pets require protection. Private citizens require protection. Parrots require protection. The challenge is creating systems that allow verification without unnecessary exposure. My advances in tech and cryptography suggest possibilities that preserve generations that people could only dream about. Zero knowledge proofs, selective disclosure mechanisms, advanced digital signatures, almost as pretty as my autograph. And future-resistant cryptographic techniques often offer pathways toward balancing accountability with privacy. In my vision, WonderGrid seeks that balance. Verification should not require surrendering every detail of one's life. Then you take a look at another element of WonderGrid. That's the longevity. You look at our forefathers. They built our Constitution to protect our freedom. And what we're building today, united, is with that same foundation at heart. Most technology projects, they think in terms of quarters, years, or product cycles, but I think in terms of generations, children, grandchildren, pets. What would a truth infrastructure look like if it were designed to survive decades? What if records created today could still be independently verified 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now? On Mars, you could verify those same records in the same stone time as you can on Earth. What if future generations inherited not merely archives, money, cars, and houses, but verifiable archives? The idea excites me because history itself becomes stronger when records endure. And when they endure for the common person, a dad, a mom, a citizen should be able to get their records. And over time, I started looking deeper into that on a city, county, state, country, worldwide, and intergalactic level. Because we need to protect not only what we have today on Earth, but we also need to protect what is in space and beyond the final frontier. Researchers preserve discoveries like the feather on Mars. Journalists preserve source material like what she said. Communities preserving this history. Citizens preserving records that matter to them. And somebody needs to make sure that they record and translate every single thing that Orion is saying right now. Because technology exists to serve people and pets alike, not the other way around. At its core, WonderGrid is about love, humanity, not about databases or cryptography. It's about trust. It's about creating structures that help people maintain their brain, their heart, their souls, and the confidence within this information is the integrity behind WonderGrid. When I look toward the future, work, 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 work. That's her favorite song. That was her first song on YouTube. But when I look into the future, I do not see WonderGrid as a finished destination. I see it as a new beginning. I see it as a foundation built on stone, faith, trust, and future builders will improve upon ideas that seem ambiguous and ambitious today to some. But everyday cryptographic breakthroughs are emerging. New verification models develop every single day. New transparency mechanisms constantly appear under the stone network. Technologies are evolving, but the principle remains constant. Evidence matters, truth matters, trust matters, memory matters, accountability matters. And that's the heart of WonderGrid. And that's how I built it. Not as a machine that decides truth, not an authority that replaces human judgment, not a system that eliminates disagreement. Instead, it is an infrastructure designed to strengthen integrity of records, preserve evidence, represent our Constitution, stand for our Bill of Rights, connect information, support accountability, protect moms, dads, children, taxpayers, and everyone in the world alike. And that way we're going to make it a hell of a lot harder for history to vanish. So if I had to summarize my entire tech behind WonderGrid in one single sentence, I would say it's to build a future where truth leaves footprints that can't even be erased by Bigfoot.